Let's go to the second part of the exam. Below is the text with blanks. Clicks on each blanks. Okay. The skills you will develop on this course will help you become more confident and competent in managing written and social aspects in your current career. It will dash you for further study in your area of interest. It will prepare or it will prepare. We plan to provide you with an opportunity to hear about the work of professors who have been involved in the past. We have had confirmation that they will give talks on their subjects specifically to your group and help you to clarify potential future directions you might take in your study and career. There are also dedicated career services available at the university you will be entitled to use. University which you will be. The assessments for the first part of the program are designed to develop key study skills and to provide you with the opportunity to brush up on skills you haven't used for a long time or feel you do not have. This will include some written work as well as group work, short presentation, and you will be taught how to do this. Dash of the assessment for each module will be explained in your first session. Dash of the assessments for each module. Details of the assessments for each module will be explained. Details, right? University of London team found that people who went with their initial responses University of London team found that people who went with their initial responses on a test of visual perception questions included picking out an anomaly in a pattern of symbols did better than those who were given more time to ponder. Okay. The subconscious brain recognized a rotated version of same symbol as different. Therefore, nevertheless, however, nevertheless, the subconscious brain recognized a rotated version of the same symbol as different. The conscious brain reasoned that the apple is still an apple, whether rotated or not. The researchers on the project concluded project concluded when the subject had time to engage their higher level functions. Dash of relying on their when the subjects had time to engage their higher level functions, dash instead of relying on their intuition response, they were more likely to be wrong. Thanks to their ability to hijack our most primal desires for connections, distraction, and validation, smartphones have become some of the best-selling devices of all time. Apple have sold more than a billion iPhones in its launch. iPhones. Apple have sold more than a billion iPhones since its launch in 2007. By one estimate, we spend an average of almost 5 hours a day at our little screen. staring at our little screens. The real figure is probably higher. A team of British psychologists found that people tend to the underestimate the time spent on their phones by about half, whole hours just evaporating in the fog. All of this suggests that our relationship to our phones might not be sufficiently intellectualized. Dash is by Brian book becomes that is why that is why that's why become a relief, like the best historians mechanics, American journalist and editor Vice Media Technology blog mother found a way that makes it seem mm, a way that makes it seem dash both inevitable in its outline and surprising, makes it seem okay makes it seem let's see. In England, it is well known that the access to university on average varies estimated by the level of parental income, and that students from poorer families access different types of universities than those from wealthier backgrounds. However, the question of whether graduates earning vary based according to the varies according to the socio-economic background amongst graduates attending similar university and taking the same subject has remained poorly understood. Dash limited by data availability. Hence, limited by data availability has remained poorly understood. Thus far, limited by data availability. Thus far limited by data availability. Our unique administrative database offers substantial advantages in addressing this crucial question. Okay. The findings are also relevant for myriad other issues that benefits from better information on institution variation in graduates, corporation, federation variation, association variation, institution variation in graduate training. I don't know. Students show subject administration, better information from schools, better information for schools to help advise and guide. An analysis of more than 500 graduates found no significant difference between business schools that offer traditional courses and those that emphasize a learning by doing approach to entrepreneurship education. Entrepreneurship. The research challenges the ongoing trend across higher education institutes of dash on experimental learning and suggests that universities needs to consider. Okay, there is a challenges the ongoing trend across higher education institutes of teaching teaching on experimental learning and suggests that university need to reconsider their approach if they aim at if they hope for increase this, if they are to increase, if they are to, if they have to know, if they hope for, if they aim at increasing, if they hope for increase, I think so. Miss something research associate at business school and author of the studies at entrepreneurship education has education education sees as a major force capable of generating long-term social economic changes through developing and has ship education has seen as a sees as a major I don't know has seen as a major force capable of generating long-term said education is seen as a has seen is seen or has seen as a major force capable of generating long-term. There is ongoing shift towards experimental learning in business school. Dash yet there is a little medical evidence yet. Learning to write well in college means learning or relearning how to write plainly and clearly. Now that doesn't mean that plainness is the only good style or what you should become a dash to spare student victim. I'm writing formality and ornaments have their place and in dash hands in and in virtuous hands complexity can carry us on this breathtaking journey and nave hands and in nave hands complexity can carry us on this competent hands. But most students most of the time should dash to be sensibly simple should what to be should strive to be sensibly simple to develop baseline style of short words active verbs and relatively simple sentence formation making clear act making sentence making relative simple sentence involving clear actions or identities involving and it lets you dash more and it lets you pay more attention. Oh my god. Denmark has a long history of weak job protection. Employers hire and dismiss people at will. Around a quarter of the workforce is unemployed at some point in the year, but the jobless enjoy generous welfare benefits while they look for work. Around 80% of their previous wage on average to ensure this does not deter people from finding new jobs. The Danes oblige unemployed to be trained and to look delightfully for work. According to the neck text, which of the following statement apply to the people in Denmark? They must take further training. They are assured to find new job. They are required to seek another job. They receive a small fraction of their salary from government. They have 8% of they are required to seek another job. Am I running out of time? Some experts believe that. Okay, which of the following views is Big Bang experts? I don't have time. We have good idea on. We have a good idea of how many Big Bangs there have been. Other Big Bangs may unable to support life. Other Big Bangs may have been. Big Bangs are not necessarily rare. Even Big Bangs will occur less often in the future. The universe is inevitable. Okay, reorder paragraph. Reorder paragraph. 13 years later, no. These primitive, no. The flange was a groove. Rods of rails called were being used in Germany as early as the flange was a groove that allowed the wheel to grip. Okay, I'm going with this. These primitive railed rods consisted of this primitive rod consisted of yeah, the flange was flanked wheels. So 13 years later, by 700, iron had replaced the wood in the rails and in the wheels on the cart. 13 years later, Englishman William Jessup designed the first wagon with flagged wheels. The flag was screw that allowed the wheels to grip the rails better and was important design feature used by later. Okay, by iron had replaced the wood in the rails and in the wheels on the cart. These primitive railed rods consisted of. Okay. Now let's read from the beginning. Rods of rods of rails called wagonways were being used in Germany as early as 15, 1550. These primitive railroads consisted of wooden rails over which horse-drawn wagons of carts moved with greater ease than over dirt roads. By 1776, iron rod had replaced the wood in the rails and in the wheels of the cart. 13 years later. Flanked wheels. The flank was a groove that allowed the wheel to grip the rail better than. Okay, let's see. Next. These early, no, my study of history, men and women started to worship. This, okay, my study of the history of religion has revealed that human beings are spiritual animals. Indeed, there is a case for arguing that Homo sapiens is also Homo religious. Men and women started to worship God as soon as they become recognizably human. This was not simply because they wanted to propitiate powerful forces they observed in the world. This early phase, my study of history and religion have revealed that human beings are spiritual animals. Indeed, there is a case for arguing that Homo sapiens is also Homo religious. Hmm. This elevates men's. Okay, we are into the next one. Finally, this study was done with students who were enrolled in lower level classes. The study was conducted with students, performed with students, was conducted. Let's see. Future research may dash re-explore the findings of this study with other college students. Re-explore. This would help. This would help. This would help dash if students' expectations. This would help remind. This would help. I don't know. And section remain constant or change. What is here? This would help determine. This would help determine if students experience remain constant or change. This would help. Okay, help report. This would help report if students' expectations and experience not change. Okay, notice. Graduates Raja known and how graduates Raja about and Anna board. How Dash rises through the ranks to be Dash associated at the leading Western Sydney law firm. How apparently risen, how rewarded, successfully risen through the ranks to be how successfully risen through the ranks to be level rewarded associates at a leading. The promotion the promotion marks the dash of many years of hard work. Culmination appointed awarded apparently. Culmination of many years of work rise to this who are the first to rise to this level. Australia is a dynamic multicultural society viewed as many as the world's most desirable place to live. Here, Frank Welsh traces Australia's intriguing and varied history to dash how the society from an ancient versus Australia's dynamic multicultural society viewed by many of the world's most desirable place to live. Here, Frank Wells traces Australia's intriguing and varied history to examine how the society became, retains, emerged from unseen tribes and convicts to examine And earliest British convict unifies became Britain. Oh. Strong links with past but is emerged but is favorably. Ministers' demand for help to cope with the pressure of an increasingly competitive political environment have been key drivers of the staffing system's development, but there has not been commensurate growth in Dash. If the voice of family is not heard as a message but an art, interesting things start to happen. Nature is no longer than Nature is no longer an alien, but instead something beautiful and exuberant. Wow, with space for us to join in. Birds' melodies have always been called songs for a my god, for a reason. Alien, what to pick? Alien opus, propensity, alien wonder, alien enigma. Let's go for the enigma. I have no clue. Maybe alien wonder. I'm not reading it. Infection control, removing contamination areas. Finish section.